Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in the United States of America. It's going to be a fantastic Grand Prix here today. All 20 drivers are in fact here, whether it be the reserves, whether it be the main drivers. They are here. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me is Mr. Horn Badger. How are you?
I'm doing very well, yeah, excited to get going.
Good. Well, we know that the Hypers has already secured the Drivers' Championship. That has been locked in, no doubt about that at all. But the top 10 has not yet been done. We're looking at the end of it. You can see Get-On, Wemmels, and Samidia are very much on that limit. Get-On is pretty comfortable. He's got 73 points, but there are people behind him who are looking to get it. Yenab, Zones, Danico, all in with a short. Same with Copy. Then Just Chilling, Beaker, Dennis, Hayes, Safso, and Dan, all out of it. Obviously, some of them have joined later into the season, so they've not really had that much of a helping hand. But that doesn't mean that they are still out of it. Championship standings. Mercedes look like they've pretty much got it, but it's not yet properly cemented. Mercedes 398 points with Haas there in P2 at 309. Racing Point in 300 points with Renault 222. Toro Rosso in 5th, Alfa 6th, Ferrari 7th, and the rest further behind. This circuit is a difficult circuit. This is one where the balance of the cars has to be perfect. I will keep saying that throughout this entire evening, as you can see it on track now. 20 turns in total. There are 2 DRS zones, lots of elevation changes, and I think ultimately the part that's going to be the problem is going through Sector 1, Sector 3, is you're going to see a lot of issues with the car stability. Bear that in mind. Like later, it's going to be a major issue. When you're coming through Sector 1, if you haven't got the balance just right in terms of the aerodynamic or the mechanical grip, you will lose control of your car, you will understeer like crazy, and your tires will get destroyed. You come to the back straight, you're going to be slow if you haven't got your aero. If you've got your aero too high, you're going to be pretty slow. You have to have your aero pretty low, but then again, you come into Sector 3, it's another area where you require a dynamical grip, you require mechanical grip, and you cannot afford to lose in those 2 major sectors. Badger, we do have... You can still hear me, right?
Yep, I can still hear it.
Good. Now, we are actually, for the first time, only a couple of minutes early. But, it's starting to come to fruition just how late into the season we are now. These drivers, especially those that are fighting for that top 10, are actually in a position where they need to be concerned about the amount of points that they have, whether or not they're actually going to be able to stay in the top 10. Because remember, those that are in the top 10, their positions are cemented for the next season, right? But when it comes to the remainder of the top 10, they get knocked into relegation/promotion series where they have to fight to stay in the league. They have to make sure that everything they do is perfect. They get points that secure them into the top 10. And considering like Samidia's position, he's had some fantastic races, but he's still on that limit. He holds the P10 position with his teammate right on the back of him. So it'd be great for both Alpha Boys to bring themselves into this, but they will need to score quite a lot of points. This is a track where Samidia, I have seen him drive here. He does have a lot of pace. He will need to make sure that he gets it just right. We are now into the qualifying session. Give me it. I want to hear it. What is your top 3 prediction?
Top 3, I would say, I think, obviously, the championship winner, Hypers is not here, so that kind of opens up the field a little bit. But I think it's going to be, let me say, Pretty Schneider, P1. I don't know. It's going to be quite a tough battle for 2 and 3 now. I think Pretty Schneider's probably locked this in. This looks like this is going to be his weekend. But yeah, I would say I'm going to throw somebody up there. It's his home turf. He'll be P2, and let's go for a wild card and say Yonte up in P3.
See, I want to believe that Yonte has the pace to get into the top 3, but I just don't think he will today. I'm looking at the likes of Hayes, I'm looking at the likes of Preschneider, and obviously the Mercedes reserve of Florian, who I've seen him race in the past. He does have pace, but he's very inconsistent, or at least he was. And bear in mind, I've not seen him race for quite some time, so I'm not quite sure how quick he can be. But Pan Pernick has shown ridiculous levels of pace. His issue is consistency, and on a circuit like this, you can't afford to be inconsistent. It'll matter when it comes to the race, for sure. In the qualifying, as long as he doesn't invalidate too frequently, he should be okay. So I am going to go Hayes P1, Preschneider P2, Pampernick P3. I have to give him it. I think it's going to be close. It's either him or Samidia. I just can't work out which one.
Yeah, I think somebody that's very good around this track. I mean, he's a fast driver around a lot of tracks, but I think specifically here in his home territory, I think he'll just have a little bit of an edge over the rest of the field.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we do have a Toro Rosso out ahead. I believe that is Buemos. No, it's not. It's Preshneider. So, I'm going to go on board with him for the hot lap, and we'll see how he tackles the United States, or COTA, as it's actually called, Circuit of the Americas. Here we go then. So the home straight, DRS wing wide open as you come tearing down and up towards turn 1, which is the biggest elevation on this circuit. Hard braking zone when you see the safety car board on the right side, and slightly turn in as you go through the gears and get the exit just right. Do not accelerate too hard, you will lose the rear. Now this is probably the hardest area of any circuit, I think, to be honest. That's in the F1 calendar, in my opinion anyway. As you come through the S's, it's a very flowy, but you have to get everything so precise. You cannot afford to make even the slightest delay. If you do, you will ruin the rest of the flow of the S's. Now you come into the relaxation section as you prepare for the storm, if you like, as you go through into the hairpin. Get the braking zone just after the 100-meter board, probably around about 75. Get yourself down the gears and get a really solid exit, because this is where the majority of the overtakes are going to happen. DRS available, tow available, ERS in mode 4. You're going to see a lot of this in the race. And coming into the heavy braking zone, brake on the F1 2019 board on the right side. Get yourself down to gear 2. Clip the inside apex, get the exit just right. Short shift if you need to, and again, do the same thing here. And the right-hander, don't run too hard on the accelerator because you will absolutely lose control of your cars. We saw in the F2 cars. And again, coming into a corner that reminds me of Bahrain turn 10, where you cannot afford to brake too much, but you can't afford to brake too little. I think he may have invalidated there. He cut that very nicely, but the double right-hander coming into a second to last corner, clip the curb just beautifully. Don't run too wide, or they did run very much off the circuit there. And, you know, we're seeing in IndyCar, I think it is, where they run incredibly far out. But that is going to be your current pole position. A 130.563 is where Paul sits. Granted, only 2 times on the board, but we'll see who else can knock him down, as Pampernick immediately does it by 0.02 of a second.
Yep, that's, as you say, Pampernick and Preshneider there are both going to be right up there at the sharp end of the grid, so it's good to see them putting in two competitive times. Florian's only 0.2 behind them as well, so top 3 right now are looking kind of what we were expecting.
Indeed, we have a few cars that have just come across the line as well to also smash some times in. Yenab P4, Yonti P5, Wellens P6. These are all 131 areas. Wellens is a bit further out, 310s. Hayes has brought himself into a P4 with a 130.824. If his current pace is anything to be based on, he's not looking particularly amazing. Now, Dennis did just get a purple sector 2, but he has just and then immediately made a mistake and lost a bit of the rear of the car. So I don't expect this to be a particularly fast time. I think a 131... I'm going to go with the 131.4. I think he's going to plant himself P7 and just knock Buemos down.
Yep, I'm just having a wee look to see who else is going.
Oh, what a guess. Oh, I got it perfect. A 131.4. That is precision. You can call me the prophet. I think, how many times have I predicted things now? That's got to be a record, right? I don't think anyone's done that, surely. But Dan, coming to the line now, he has, by the looks of things on the right side, invalidated. Yes, he has. He was at 131.9, so he would have been P11 anyway. But still, not good that he's invalidating this early on.
Yeah, everyone will trying to set bankers in, but I'd be careful about calling yourself the prophet with how often you commentate curse people. So I'll leave that one.
That's fair. That's fair. Felix puts himself, Brownie even. He put himself P5. The reason I was saying Rainbow is because I just realised that Yolta's not here. It's actually Rainbow, the reserve, filling in for them. So he's currently at P12 with a 131.7. He actually hasn't, he confessed this the other day, he actually hasn't had much practice in this game at all. So the fact that he's doing times like that does still show he has got it in him.
Yep, he's if he's managed to get that pace naturally, that's very good going. The handling model is a bit strange in this game, so if he's just able to get to grips with that, that's definitely showing his natural pace.
So, Beaker on an outlap now, interestingly enough. One thing I have not yet seen, which doesn't mean it hasn't happened, I've just not seen it. I've not seen anyone trying to line up the toe here. I reckon the McLaren drivers will try it. I think if Hypers was here, the Mercedes drivers would absolutely try it. We haven't got Infamous either, because he's currently participating in a very important race. So it's going to be Yonti on his own with Noosa. They may go for the toe, but I'd be surprised if they did. And other than that, there's only really the Alfa Romeo boys who might actually still try it, one of which has not yet set a time on the board, and this is his home circuit.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be able to get a time in just now. Once it gets going, still plenty of time left in the session. You would expect the Renault boys as well to try the toe. That's usually their trick. They've been doing that every race of the season so far. So I'd imagine in the next run they'll probably be towing each other as well.
Yeah, indeed. Beaker, I don't want to say doing a great lap. I mean, it looks decent, and I think he'll probably be about the tail end of the top 10. Maybe even a bit slower than Dennis, potentially his teammate. But, you know, he's someone I'm worried about when it comes to this race. I mean, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, again, remember, he started a lot later into the calendar than some of the others. So he's obviously at a bit of a disadvantage in getting into the top 10. But this is a track he's not particularly consistent on. This is where I see him quite often get penalties, make mistakes, have incidents, lose the car. You know, that's what we don't want to see. I'm worried if he's even going to be able to do great here. I'm hoping he can prove me wrong. I'm hoping he can shut my mouth. I just don't have good vibes right now.
I think he's going to set a pretty decent time here, get himself in the sharp end of the top 10. I feel confident. I feel that he's going to live up.
He's invalidated. He was actually right behind Dennis. 131.483, I think it was, I just seen. So had he actually been able to get the time on the board, I would have got it perfectly right again. Yeah, I mean, Pampernic's still currently set up there, 130.543. Preschneider really close to him as well. I think when it comes down to it, Preschneider's the one I would favour out of the two, only because of how aggressive Pampernic's style can be. He quite often makes those mistakes, gets involved in situations. And in fact, look at this. It's actually the Ferrari boys who are the first people I've seen giving the toe. In fact, I have just seen that the McLaren boys are also doing the same thing. Danica going to move out of the way the last second. I was very, very close to not being perfectly timed. And he moved out and got all of the toe there for him.
Yeah, that was timed to perfection. Looked a little bit hairy on board, but that worked out well for them. And you can see that the Renault boys as well, they're lined up, ready for this. So it looks like it's Rainbow is going to be getting the toe from Brownie. So we'll see how that works out for him. Yeah, the Renault boys are the ones that you can trust to always do this every race. So. And that's a great lap in there from Pan Pernick.
Yeah, solid. 130.328. It's going to be Preschneider now who has to try and increase that, and he's going to cross the line, and he does! Now he's 0.02 of a second ahead. They're just swapping places non-stop. This is great stuff. If they can do this in the race, if they can replicate this level of pace, I mean, obviously not exactly that level of pace because of, you know, fuel, etc., etc. But still, if they can be this close together, this is going to be fantastic.
Yep, this is shaping up to be a good one. And as we say, Florian and Hez, they can definitely get up there. I think some idiot can get probably close to it, probably not into the 130.3s, but I think he can get close. Pan Pernick as well. He's just one more lap, get one corner fixed, and that could be him back on pole position.
Jesse just did a 131.3, which would have been around about the same as his teammate in currently P9, but invalidation means he's not going to improve, and he will need to find a way to get this going right. Summidian is now out on the circuit and will hopefully get a time on the board. There's his teammate lined up ahead of him, so they are going to be giving it the toe. The Mercedes boys are in a similar boat as well. I imagine that's going to be, yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. Going to be giving Florian the toe, Yenab going to be giving Summidian the toe, and this is going to be massive when it comes to the hot laps. They may actually be able to knock the 130s, maybe even potentially see a 129. That was very late to move out of the way. Oh, actually, Yenab almost goes into the back there of Get Earned as well.
Yeah,
of Florian.
I would be impressed if we get a 129. That's some incredible pace if that's to happen. But so long as the pack stays kind of close, I'm happy regardless of what time they set in. But a 129 just seems a little bit out of reach.
Well, here comes some idiot then. Has he got what is required in order to get himself up into the top 3? Ideally on pole position for him. It'll be provisional regardless, as here comes Gaon. He's done a P3 and it's going to be a P6, a 130.801. Uncharacteristic.
Yeah, it's still a respectable time, but you'd expect him. Obviously, his first attempt was invalid, so maybe he was taking it a little bit cautious, but you'd expect him to have an extra couple of tenths on that.
Copy out on circuit as well. He looks like he's also invalidating. He's bringing himself back into the pits. Now we are getting to that stage. I will not call it just yet. Beacon and outlap though, so he's going to be the odd one out here when it comes to this. He's actually been very off target when it comes to everyone else coming out on circuit. Now it doesn't really matter too much. It's just all about that final run. When will he get the time to do it? If he commits to this lap, I think he's putting himself at risk of not being able to do a quicker lap later in the session. I'm wondering if he's actually bothered though, because I don't think he wants to start the race on soft tyres. I get the impression he wants to start the race on mediums or something else. Now I raced here not that long ago. I did a soft hards and I felt great when it came towards the end of the race. But soft mediums will do it. They will just be so uncomfortable though at the end. It's all down to the balance of the car, that plays a massive factor, but also the lines that you take as a driver and how hard you are on the exits of the corners. Beaker can really be quite good when it comes to tyre management, so he may go for that soft medium strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Beaker tries to play the strategy game too much sometimes. It's every race he seems to be trying to be the one that's doing something a little bit different, and a lot of the time it doesn't really work out for him. He seems to get caught in a counter strategy to a lot of people. JC as well, he seems to be going for the harder compound a lot more than those around him, and we think at the time it might be a great strategy call, and then it turns out to be a bit of a mistake. But hopefully, as we say, it can work out for him, and towards the end of the race he'll be on a nice fresh set of boots and can really show his pace. But I just hope that it actually works in his favour this time, and he's invalidated on the final.
Oh, he almost goes into the wall as we're in the calm before the storm, as majority of the drivers, although some of them have just now come out, are in the pit, prepping themselves for that final push and working out how they're going to attack this circuit. There's going to be teammates lining up to try and give each other the tow, and the first one out is going to be the one who will receive it first, and then they will have to deliver it afterwards should they go ahead and do so. Zones is already invalidated, but it's only an outlap anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But Safso is currently on a flyer. We'll keep an eye on him as he comes around the circuit.
Yep, he's got one driver really in front of him, and once he's past that, I doubt he'll catch up to the rest of the pack. So, yeah, it'll be fine so long as Yenab manages to get out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, Yenab will hop, skip, and jump out of the way, I think, most of the time. He's very good at his awareness. Gave himself one of those cards, I think, one of the F1 stat cards, the top trumps that seem to be flying around social media at the minute. But Safso, at the minute, coming up to the hairpin, about to tear it down the back straight. If I was to chuck a prediction in, I think he's only going to make it to around about a 131.5. I would like to see him be much faster, but it depends. It depends on how he's feeling. He's not got the tow, which a lot of the other drivers have. His teammate Hayes, who's up in P4, is currently way back there, and he's only just now getting to their back straight.
Yeah, it looks like some of the drivers, the Renaults again, are trying to just come out so that they can get the tow done, but yep, that's Yenab getting out of the way now for Safso, so let's see what he's able to do. But as you say, I think he's probably looking to be about say a second off the pace, so say a 131.3.
Right, Safso coming to the line then. He will improve. It is a 131.6, so he's P15 as it stands. We'll see how much better he can perform later. Noosa was next on it, but it looks like he's already had a bit of a mare through the S's. We'll see how that pans out. Not as bad of a mare as Danico has had. He's already rotated the car before we've even got onto his hot lap. Has he got wing damage? I think he's missing a left end play, honestly. If he has,
yep,
he's done for.
Yep, that's definitely missing a left end plate. So that's him out. Will he be able to give Pampernick a tow, though, is the question.
Pampernick is further up ahead and already on a hot lap, so I'm guessing not.
So that's, Danico's 9th at best.
And on top of that, Pampernick, who needed the tow really to improve his time, because that's what he's had already in the past, is now in a position where he might not actually be able to beat Preschneider's time, and I don't think Preschneider actually got the tow.
Pampernick's coming into the pits, he's gave up.
Yeah, that's it. P2 then at best. I mean, it was 200ths of a second between them, but still, you know, that was a chance for him to secure pole position. Again, like I said before, it's not always about getting pole on this circuit. You know, sometimes it's best to be in P2 because you can actually have a better run in towards turn 1. We'll see as Yenab is on his hot lap. He's had a tow from Samidia and going to be looking to repay the favour in a short while. We've got the Williams boys as well come across the line, just chilling. Again, it looks like he's invalidated, and so has Yenab. His time is over, and he will not be able to improve.
Hayes is also invalidated by the looks of things, so that really leaves Florian as the one who might be able to pit pole position, but
no.
Yeah.
He's backed out. He's not even going to be able to do it. He's got no fuel to be able to go for another run. He's got no time to be able to go for another run. Get Earned has also not gone for another lap, so he's not going to improve. It will need to be the likes of Yonti and Samidia, it looks like. Or maybe even Brownie. Brownie has not really shown his face yet.
Samidia's invalidated.
Oh, no.
So it's just Yonti, really. Yonti's getting the toe up the back with Noosa right now, so he might be able to pip a few positions, but all the drivers in front seem to be making mistakes. Preschneider, though, a 129.9.
That guy has smashed it. I didn't even see him check that time in. He just slipped that in there out of nowhere. I mean, he's only just done it. But here comes Yonti, though, also in with a chance of knocking the times apart. Get Earned is... Yeah, he's not on a hot lap. I just double-checking. Where is Brownie? He's still good. He's not actually invalidated. So it's between, really, Yonti and Brownie. Dennis could potentially get one on there, but, I don't know, his pace is lacking today. He's not really showing how good he can be. Dennis will go P8. He goes to 30.814. Yonti goes to P6 with a 30.704. Where's Brownie? P6. He's jumped.
That was a good result for those guys there, just at the last.
Now, Zones didn't get a time on the board. Neither of the McLarens got a time on the board, which is concerning. You know, they're going to stand from the very far back of the grid. They're going to have a lot of situations, shall we say, happening ahead of them. I don't see a way for them to get back into this race. The only way I can think of potentially is hard softs, and you're going to be so slow on the hards initially. You know, great, you'll come onto the softs later. You'll be able to absolutely kill it, you know, with your natural pace. But where are you going to be on the circuit when you get to the end of your hards? How far back are you going to be? Are you going to be able to manage that tyre wear to go pretty far in to get on the softs? It's a situation I would rather not be in if I was them.
Yeah, they've definitely got a lot of work to do tomorrow, or for the race. But the problem that they have, really, is no matter what they do, they can't react to any safety cars if they are to do that strategy. You know, whereas drivers in front might be able to effectively get a free pit stop on them. It's a hard call, but I think it is kind of like the best solution for them. And if, you know, they just hang back in the turn one and just see the carnage unfold in front of them, it's such a wide turn one where, you know, you'll get 4 wide cars going at it, trying to find different lines and different routes through. They could cause some crashes, and they could maybe pick up the pieces there and then just try and stay within the slipstream. But they've definitely got a lot of work to do.
They do indeed. Quick rundown then is Preschneider P1, Pampernick P2, Get On P3 with Hayes in 4th, Wemmels 5th, Brownie 6th, Yonti 7th, Florian 8th with somebody at 9th, Dennis rounding out the top 10 with Yenab getting best of the rest, and the 1 second margin just breaks out around about P13 with Rainbow, who's going to be holding that down. But remember, qualifying, you don't get any points. This is not the F2 races. This is the F1, where it all comes down to the race. How you handle your car on the circuit, the strategy you lay yourself out, and how you can manage your tyres. We'll see who is going to make it, but I do need to get from you your 1, 2, 3.
I think that time from Preschneider was very impressive for his qualifying. So I think he can take this today. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of towing and slipstream, but I think he can hold out, and I think he'll end up with the win. I'll say Pan Pernick can hold P2, and Hazel probably get P3.
Right then. I believe the constructors can also be decided today. Oh, it looks like we're having a rehost. As Just Chilling has had to leave the session. We'll see shortly what this is for. Right, bear with us 2 seconds. We'll get this all sorted again, and we'll be back when the lobby has been rehosted.
searching prey. Sweet talking dirty on the floor. Look like an honest copy paste. Swarm around my head, look the way he goes. Buzzing like he thinks that he's my hero. Thinking of taking a break, shutting it down to refresh. Honey, it's all for the better. Oh no, so spit it out to my face. It's okay, I've been busy working late, unrehearsed in my face, like repeating my mistakes. It's alright, it's okay, there is no one else to blame. I'm busy loving myself. I've been prioritizing, and you don't make it on that list. Don't get offended, baby. It's just a self-reviving thrift. Swarm around my head, look the way he goes. Buzzing like he thinks that he's my hero. Thinking of taking a break, shutting it down to refresh. Honey, it's all for the better. Oh no, so spit it out to my face. It's okay, I've been busy working late, unrehearsed in my face, like repeating my mistakes. It's alright, it's okay, there is no one else to blame. So spit it out to my face. It's okay, I've been busy working late, unrehearsed in my face, like repeating my mistakes. It's alright, it's okay, there is no one else to blame. I'm busy loving myself.
Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. There was a issue with Dan's game, which caused some errors, and unfortunately, he cannot take part in this race. We did try to rehost for him, but after multiple attempts of trying to rejoin, it does appear though we just gonna have to proceed without him, sadly. So 19 drivers will continue this Grand Prix. Nonetheless, though, it's going to be a nice, clear race throughout the entirety of this race. Lots of strategy calls to be made.
Yep, that's unfortunately leaving Zones on his own to try and pick their way through the pack, but I suppose it's also one less driver for him to overtake. So we'll see what works out for him. Still got the difficult decision on what tyre strategy he's going to have to make. As you say, probably the hards for him, and hopefully Dan will be able to still stay in the chat and help the Jeff and everything to see if they can get Zone some points.
Yeah, and that's the crucial thing. Even when you're out of these races in the Rwagnation League, you're not actually out. You know what I mean? You can still very much pass some very important information, especially if you have got the if you've got the telemetry as well being passed to you. Then great, you can see a lot of the stuff that's happening on the circuit. You can see the penalties that are being applied, and obviously the race engineers have got this already anyway. But sometimes being a driver as well as having that information does make a massive difference. And you've got that knowledge, the on-track knowledge, where you can actually start to feel how the race is about to unfold. As here we go then. So the top 10 obviously will start on the tyres that they qualified on, as is normally the case, and those outside of it will start the tyres on however they choose. Now all of them except one have decided to go on the mediums. Safso deciding to go on the softs.
It's a bold move. If they can make the positions up through the medium runners and get fighting in the top 10, be on the same strategy as those in front pretty quickly, then it could work out for him. I've had a little word with him there in between sessions, and he did say he felt that he had more pace in the car than his qualifying position showed. So I expect he could make his way through the medium runners and gain some places into the top 10. But whether that strategy call is going to potentially backfire if he can't get through the medium runners fast enough, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe, just maybe, he's going softs to hards. I mean, that's the only solution I can think of. If he is, fantastic. I'd love to see him do that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he is. Now, the driver of the day voting will open at the beginning of lap 20. So bear that in mind. Get your Dennis votes ready. But I actually think There's anybody here who can actually take it. That's the problem. It's not just about where you finish. It's about how strong you perform on the day. And if you absolutely nail it. Safso, for example, going for a ballsy call like that, the eyes are locked on him now to see how he delivers. If he does go for a soft hards, if he does go for a soft mediums, it's all going to be how he plays this out. The issue is the early laps in the race always wear your tyres the hardest because that's when you've got the most fuel. That's when the track is in its most awkward, and that's when most of the battling will ensue. So we'll see how Safsa will attack this. But if I was to give you a top 3 prediction, I think it's hard to call. I think Preschneider is probably gonna win. Hayes will probably finish P2. Do we think that the Mercedes boys will get into P3? Getland currently sat there. He has to hold it. That's the hard part.
It would be a tough ask, I think. There's a lot of fast guys around. Preschneider's pace, I would think, he should really be taking the fight to everyone. He should get going and be completely in the distance by the time the DRS is activated. So we'll see.
Yep. Here we go then, lights are on for the USA Grand Prix. It's go time, and Preschneider has got a pretty solid start, but along that has Pan Pernick. He's not going to get the inside run unless it goes for a big yeet, which is kind of what Brownie's going for. This is a move. If he can get it done, there's 3 car wide. They're going to be touching. There's a lot of shove in there, but Brownie is up to P3. Big contact. That's immediately a racing point that's been completely rotated. So many front wings have been destroyed here. Pampernick and Hayes have had theirs. I think Yonti's in the same boat, and Florian, he couldn't avoid it, and the safety car has been called.
Yep, that was. This is what I was saying for zones. He needed to watch out for if there was to do that hard strategy. Is just keep an eye on what's going on in turns 1 and 2, because everything always gets really tense, shall we say, through those turns. So yeah, it's certainly worked out a little bit for Safs, although he's managed to get up to P12 and it doesn't look like he's got any damage, I don't think so. Oh no, he does. He's missing an end plate.
Yeah,
oh, that's a disaster for Safso.
Yeah, his strategy has just been pretty much chucked in the bin. Now, realistically, he needs to go mediums. He needs to chuck on a set of mediums. He will have to pit again later for sure. He'll have to go soft. But if you go hard to the end of this race, your pace is just not going to exist. And that's the issue for him now. He needs to make sure that it's still alive. He can't just lay down and get beaten up. He's absolutely got to think forward now. So, yes, both the racing points are in major disaster. One of the Mercedes is also in major disaster. Both of the Haas drivers are not in a great place, although Noosa is up 3 places, and in terms of the biggest winner, Beaker is actually the biggest winner so far. 9 places gained. He's up to P6 with his teammate right there ahead of him in P5. So Red Bull, who have got probably the least points out of all the constructors, is actually in with a chance of a really solid start.
Yeah, and as we say, because he's been having some bad luck in terms of getting the positions that we think he's capable of. So it'll be nice to see if he can actually get himself up into some good points today and hopefully maintain it throughout the full Grand Prix.
I was about to say how great this is for Dennis. Well, I already did say how great this is for Dennis, and immediately he's had to come in for a replacement wing. He has also gone for the hard compound tyres, along with Sumidi, along with Rainbow, and look how many people are in the pits. That's just how much there was carnage going into towards turn 1. They just could not keep themselves out of it. But still, this is great stuff when it comes to position changes. Zones is up 10 places. Now Beaker, because his teammate Pit, is also up 10 places. So there are still some people that massively benefit from this. And just by any means mean this is over.
Yeah, there's still a lot to play for. It's only, as we say, lap 2. So everyone here can still definitely make or break their race, depending on the strategies that they call from now on and whether they can keep their nose clean.
The collision at the restart is under investigation. Obviously, there was a lot of cars that were caught up, so they're trying to understand exactly what caused it, who's at fault, etc., etc., who started the chain reaction, effectively. But that's the thing. When you come into Kota Turn 1, it's already... I mean, it's a wide area, but it's quite difficult to go side by side because it's such a sharp corner. You can't really go too tight onto the apex. If you're trying to just start from the outside line, it's just too difficult. So you have to worry about who's coming there. But then you immediately on a downhill, which the traction is going to be awkward for you, especially when you're trying to step on the accelerator, and you will lose the rear end. You'll start to go sideways and maybe even go into another car, and I think that's ultimately what happened, but we'll let the stewards review the footage and figure out exactly how it all unfolded.
Yep, they're going to have a late night tonight, I'd imagine, trying to get to the bottom of all this. But, you know, we leave that to them. They're good at what they do, so we'll just see how it all folds out.
Presschneider still P1, get earned up to P2, and Brownie with the biggest jump of everybody. He's gained so many places. 3, in fact, but he's still managed to get himself onto a podium. That's the bit that matters. He can stay on the back of Get Earned, he can just manage his pace now. They are on the same strategy, it looks like, unless they go, one of them goes for soft hards. Having said soft hards is the better strategy, I don't think necessarily that it is after reviewing it a little bit in my head. Softs mediums is doable. I think it's just, again, down to how consistent you can be. You just can't really afford to make too many mistakes. If you get a bit too lively on the accelerator, that will absolutely shred your rear. And again, if your brake bias is set even slightly more favored towards the back, it will destroy your rear even more. So setup is the most crucial factor in this Grand Prix. The rest of it is just down to how good your lines are and how little you can turn your wheel.
Yeah, it's all about trying to just maintain tire life. But look at zones here. You know, from the very last up now into P9, and he's on the medium tires, so he can run a little bit longer than the top 3. We expect they'll probably be in, you know, for a new pair of boots not too long after the safety car comes in. So he's actually sitting pretty right now. You know, if he can just keep with the pack and maybe pick off a few extra positions, he could get some good points today.
So the insert between Buemels, Pampernick and Hayes on lap 1, no further action. So bear that in mind then. It was a very awkward first corner, let's be honest. There was so many cars staying as close as they could to each other. There was a car that was stuck in the middle that had nowhere to go. Safety car is coming in this lap. And so Presschneider is going to start prepping himself for that. But yeah, lots of carnage, lots of wings going flying as a result of that Turn 1 incident. But now it's all down to Presschneider. He has to really think about how he wants to restart this. Now, obviously, when it comes to the start of the race, you know, you've got lights that control that. Now it's all in Presschneider's hands, so he can actually decide how big a gap he wants if he can outplay Get Earned and the likes of everybody behind him. I want to see what he does here.
Yeah, it's I thought he'd be kind of slowing the pack down a little bit more already, but he's staying pretty close to that safety car. But now he's trying to keep them back, and he gets to say
he's gone.
Gets to say when, and he's gone. So Get On managed to stay with him pretty well. So we'll see. Brownie's a little bit of a gap to Get On, but that was actually a very good restart from Presschneider.
Really solid, but Get On read that like a book. He's seen this story, he knows exactly how that one unfolds, and now he's right there on the back of Presschneider, and the gap to Felix is just a bit too big. I mean, everyone else behind is still pretty close. You got obviously Danico who's right on the rear, despite what their timings say on the left-hand side. Beaker involved in this situation too, and remember, he started on the medium, so he's looking pretty when it comes to his actual strategy, and now it's actually just got that little bit easier without a Turn 1 collision. The safety car being out means he's barely used these tyres. He's used them for the opening first couple of corners, and that's it. He's done some very slow laps and life is good for him. But that's the same for Yenam. It's the same for Copy and a few others behind, which means that now the strategy is going to be even more crucial than it ever has been before.
Yep, the top 3 need to make sure that they pit on the absolute correct laps, that they don't lose any time with degrading tyres. So they're the ones most at risk now because they haven't come into the pits, but you can see a few other guys right now on the back with the hard tyres on as well. So there's a lot of people that may try and push this to the end on the hard tyres, but you probably see that they just run out of pace, and the medium tyres will probably take them up, you know, absolutely take off from them. So we'll see. It would be interesting to see, just keeping an eye on somebody, trying to see if he can keep up with JC. But that'll be something that the hard tyre runners will expect to get them paid dividends later in the race.
Yeah, exactly. Florian did make a quick job on Yonti. He's got himself through in quite a slow area of the circuit, actually, so very well done for him. Quite a difficult overtake to make. The zone's on the back of Copy. He's just kind of sitting in there, sitting pretty, and seeing if he can drag these guys back a little bit, maybe, and get himself a bit further up the field. He's had very hit and miss season of zones. He's had some really good races. He's also had some absolutely terrible ones as well. We'll see if he can recover throughout this Grand Prix and get even further up, maybe even secure himself a nice cheeky top 5. That'd be really good for his points. But then you have the likes of Bika, Yenab, Copy, and even Daniko, who are going to be fighting hard. My worry is these top 3. You know, that safety car coming out and them not pitting kind of puts them in a really awkward scenario because these softs will get destroyed. The tyre wear here is phenomenal. And you know, it's all, again, down to how they manage it. And we have got Florian, who's gone off the circuit. I don't know if that... I mean, I'm looking at his wing. It looks okay. So he's not run into someone. Whether he's been hit or whether he's just made a mistake himself is a whole different story. But P19 is where he sits in a massive gap now to those ahead of him.
Yeah, that's 5 seconds now to catch up to the back of Hayes, and you know Hayes as well. He's had damage and had to come in for the pits, so he's not been enjoying this race either so far. So we'll see if they can manage to work their way back through the field and get back into the points. Both of them, as I say, are on the hard tyre, so they might want to try and push it to the end. We'll see how that goes. I don't know how much tyre life will be left at the end of the race, but they've got the potential now that they could just run the full race on that hard tyre.
Get On seems to have dropped off quite substantially to Preschneider now, and actually this allowed Brownie to get right back into it, and he's already in the attack position as DRS has now been enabled. They will not get it on the home straight, of course, because the detection zone is before the start-finish line, but he will get it on the back straight, and that will prove to be quite important, although he's going for it now. He's going in for turn 1. Get On runs quite wide, which allows Brownie to just get the move pretty early in, but Get On is still here. He's actually got a better run and better exit through turn 1, which allows him to still hold on to P2. No one else making swaps anywhere else on the field.
You know, Get On over the last couple of races has actually really impressed me with how well he's been driving. So I think he can take a lot of confidence from the last race, and he might actually do well and hold Brownie back here.
So Zones, Copy, Yenab, and Bika. Florian getting a 3-second time penalty, just making mistakes. Now, in order for Mercedes to win the Constructors' Championship, they need to outpoint Haas. Currently, that's going to happen as neither of the Haas drivers are actually scoring any points. We'll see if that makes a difference later as Brownie's past Get On. That's going to happen pretty swiftly. Yenab on Bika. He's going to go for a move too, and I think he's going to get that one before we even get to the braking zone. But has Zone's got anything he can say on Copy? A little bit of a touch there into the back of Copy that's destabilized him a little bit, and the gap is breaking out, but it's not too substantial at the minute. No damage on either car, just a little bit of a scare there for Copy. A definite code brown as the Noosa and Boemels are going side by side as well.
Yep, Boemels just managed to get past Noosa there, and now Zones is just managing to get past Copy. So yeah, this is working out well for Zones here. He'll want to stay on the back of Bika and keep Copy behind him now.
And both Williams drivers will see what's happened ahead of them and go, we need to do something about this pretty quickly. Just chilling, usually ahead of his teammate, although Copy seems to be that much better today. Granted, it's only slight, but still, he's still there. Summit has got a 1.4 second gap to Boemels behind. I think that's mainly due to the battle that was happening between him and Noosa. And then you got the train behind that leads all the way back to P18, with Florian sitting 6.3 behind Hayes.
Yeah, Florian's having a real tough race right now, which, you know, it's not what he wanted. As you say, the Mercedes boys can win the Constructors, so he'd really been wanting to try and get some points today, but it's not all doom and gloom. As we say, Mercedes right now are in the driver's seat effectively to win the Constructors as well today, so Get On's doing the work for the team.
Indeed. Bika just gets himself a 3-second time penalty. He's one of the first in this top of the pack to get one, starting to show a little bit of pressure affecting him here. Get earned under attack from Daniko. I don't think he's going to go for a sender here. No, he's not. The Zones might go for one on Bika though. He did clip Copy earlier. He's not clipped Bika this time. Keeping it clean. Yonti and Dennis. Yonti's looking for the inside on Dennis. A bit of a lock up there, but he's on the mediums. He's going to have the better grip, and Dennis has got the inside line. He's going to hold this, I think. I don't think he can let Yonti through. Yonti might still be able to stick it out. Dennis tries to put him as far out wide as he possibly can, and unfortunately for Yonti, wait, never mind. He's coming right back at him. Back on the inside. Got to get this done quickly, otherwise you'll be stuck out here and left out to dry as Dennis is keeping his face very cleanly in this. Yonti's got a wider line, but he's not going to have the grip he needs, but he has got the position. Dennis falls to P15, Yonti gets P14, and this is still far from over, but our leaders, or some of them at least, have come in.
Yep, that's Preschneider decided to stick on those medium tyres. He thinks that they can go to the end now, and we've missed Zones just managing to overtake Bika. He was actually managed to do a switchback move on Bika and get up the inside and take that position from him. So Zones now in P4 now that Preschneider's been for the pits.
The fight between Yonti and Dennis has actually allowed those behind to close up very quickly. Look at Pampernik. He's all over the gearbox of Dennis now. Dennis starting to struggle. Oh, there was almost contact there between Pampernik and Dennis, but they've kept it clean. No damage again still. The Racing Point boys are right behind this as well, so they will look to snatch anything away from anybody making mistakes. And those that are on the hards are going to struggle here. They're going to have no real grip to fight with, especially whilst these mediums are still young. Give it a bit of time, that will definitely change. Rainbow having a bit of a moment there as he comes into a fight with Noosa. DRS available to him. Noosa will not have it, so Rainbow might go for a send.
Yeah, I'm having a look, and I think from what I can see, somebody and yeah, somebody is the fastest hard tyre runner at the moment, but it's a 136 points, well, nearly a 136.7. So yeah, that's a penalty there from zones.
Sorry, the Haas boys are actually getting into a scrap with one Renault, and it looks like it's going to be a sandwich that Renault don't want to get involved in. Yonti is still there with Rainbow. They keep touching left and right, and it looks like Rainbow will hold it down for now. He was trying to attack Noosa. Noosa held Rainbow back, and that allowed Yonti to just slip down the inside and start getting into a bit of a war here. And I don't think it's going to end as they come into the final corner. They're going to be going side by side again, but they're still keeping it on the track, and Rainbow's still keeping it in P11.
You can definitely see the grip difference there between the medium tyres and the hard tyres.
They're still going at it. He's gone for a big ascent. This time it's a sandwich. That's a big, big yeet there from Yonti. It actually weirdly favours Rainbow. That little bit of contact into Noosa. Noosa just couldn't keep the car in a solid momentum. That's actually lost him 2 places now, and now outside of the points. Dandico getting himself a penalty as well. He's currently sat P2 though, so he's going to be okay for now, and it's not really going to, I mean, it'll affect him in terms of zones, but we still have plenty of laps to go before that kicks in. Yonti getting a penalty. Pampernik closing in on the back of Noosa. Battling is very much on the table here.
Yep, and here's Presschneider now attempting to make a move on Saf, so now he's got those fresh medium tyres on. He's obviously right down at the back of this field, but there's a huge train in front of him that he'll want to try and jump. But right now, you know, Brownie's staying out those extra few laps. He may be going to gain from this. It depends, right, how much extra space he can get. But at the moment, I think he is lapping about a second faster than Presschneider, so Brownie might have actually made the right call.
Yonti went for a move in the DRS zone on Rainbow. He did have to do it in the braking zone as well, but he has managed to secure it. But look at the gap. 3.9 seconds between him and Buemels. Now Yonti's in a very awkward situation. He doesn't have that much ERS, especially in comparison to Rainbow, who's on 86%. Life is great for him. Noosa in a similar boat to Yonti, again, low on ERS. Pampernik hasn't even been applying ERS. He's loved life that much. He's been on 100% as he goes around the final corner and gets into DRS range of Noosa. Keep an eye as we go in towards turn 1. I don't think he's going to go for a yeet just yet, but as we go further into this Grand Prix, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to go for moves on Noosa, then Rainbow, and then just sit behind Yonti for a bit.
Yep, Get-Owns managed to come out in front of Brownie there. That was a very, very close after the pits, but Get-On managed to maintain the position there.
Pampernik just went to the back of Noosa there, destabilised himself more than he did Noosa. It hasn't really affected him too much, but he can't keep doing that. If he keeps doing it, he's going to end up finding himself A, in the steward's office, or B, with a lot of tyre wear, and also with an opportunity that Presschneider is going to snatch away here, straight into the hairpin. He's got the inside line. He's done that so quickly, but Pampernik is angry. He's furious. He does not want to let that go. DRS open now, ERS in mode 4. He's trying to tow this as quickly as he can. And Presschneider says, nope, not today. Good luck.
Presschneider's absolutely getting a move on here. He knows that the strategies are all up in the air because of that safety car, so he wants to make sure that he does his talking on the track, gets those positions back and puts himself back in the lead of this race. But right now he doesn't know who in front of him's still got to pit, who's not going to pit, who's coming in when, who's going on what tyre, so he's wanting to make sure he moves himself up this pack as fast as he can.
And Dennis in a similar boat, except he's struggling at the back there. So do remember he did go into the pits when that safety car came out. Did have to get a wing replaced, and he did fall down the order. He's currently sat P16. He's chasing for Safso on these hard tyres, is Dennis, and he's going to have to play the long game, but he's just trying to hang in there. The fact that he's on 62% ERS shows he's not really feeling that confident here on the circuit. And there's Presschneider going for a move down the inside of Noosa. Very quick, easy maneuver there for Presschneider. Now Noosa can use this to bring himself further up. 10 laps in is Noosa on these mediums. He's not yet pit, and he's having a bit of a mare.
Yep, Presschneider is absolutely flying. And up next is Rainbow on those hard tyres. I imagine he'll get past Rainbow very fast.
Yeah, I mean that's the tyre difference, but also the comfort. You can see Rainbow getting a bit sideways there on the exit. Preschneider didn't have even a slight wobble. Pampernik and Noosa, they're going to be going into the braking zone. Pampernik's decided he's going to wait for the DRS straight. Noosa's ran deep. Pampernik sees the inside, goes for a maneuver, and he's got DRS locked in as well. Preschneider going for an attack on Rainbow. Rainbow's not going to have any answer to this. The DRS is very strong here, and so is the toe. Inside line for Preschneider. Easy into the braking zone. Rainbow will just let it happen and just kind of tuck in behind. Noosa is swapping places with Hayes. Safso trying to get involved in this as well. He's not going to get that gap done. Pampernik is ahead of Hayes too. He's going to be about to get attacked by Hayes, who's on hard tyres. They're on the same age, remember, and Hayes is that bit faster.
Yep, Hayes is putting the foot down. He's seeing the drivers in front of him kind of battling away and getting through this train, so he's wanting to get involved.
Noosa running wide. His tyres are about done, it feels like. He's really lost all of the confidence and all of the pace. Pampernik getting a penalty. Noosa defending against Safso, trying to just hold him at bay. Buemos and Samidia. Samidia's gone for an inside move. Buemos is going to try and get the cutback of Dreams, and he might just get it. Bit of a wobble there from Samidia, but he's not going to get it into the awkward S section. Mode 0 for the ARS to recharge it as much as he can. Ready for that back straight. Safso and Dennis side by side, going for a little scrap. Dennis is through, up on Safso. Now Dennis starts to come to life.
Yeah, that's this is working on those hard tyres now, you know. Whether he can take them to the end or not remains to be seen. But Preschneider is actually right now effectively in P2, if we can look at the stops. Because right now, the top 6, we know guaranteed they have to pit. But the only one out from in front of Preschneider that could potentially stay out until the end is actually Samidia. Buemos and Yonte are going to need to come in for some soft tyres at some point in this race, or if they can stretch these mediums, that would be very impressive from lap 1, where they or the end of lap 1 when they came into pit. So we'll see. But some idiots now just making a move on JC as well. So those hard tyres are definitely coming into their own.
Beaker and Copy have actually been going side by side since the end of the back straight, and they're still going at it. Beaker has actually managed to recover and get back into P4, but yeah, the fighting is starting to really come into it. Look at Buemos going for a move on Just Chilling. He's going around the outside. Both Williams are feeling attacked and attacky, and currently JC is holding Buemos back. This is working wonders for him right now, but he can't afford to lose the DRS train ahead of him. Medium tyres for both of these two, so they can't really worry about the tyre grip. They just need to focus on getting through to the next tyre and making that stint work. But here comes Buemos looking for the inside line in towards turn 1. JC's going to be hung out to dry, but he could get the switch back, and I think that's what he's going to go for here. No, he's not. Buemos has managed to lock P7 in. Preschneider closes in that little bit more.
Yep, Preschneider in the final sector alone gained half a second, so he is absolutely flying on these new mediums.
Alright. Copy. P5 still hanging into Beaker. Beaker only 3.5 seconds away from the battle for P2. It's not the end of the world for Beaker, but that penalty that he's got is going to be a bit of a nuisance for him. Everyone else is going to get some at some point more than likely. But as it stands, he's currently the odd one out. He's currently the one who's struggling to get it together, despite his current track position.
So the top 3 in front of him also have 3-second penalties, but he is obviously outside of that range. So all the guys behind him have all been pretty clean up until JC. Unfortunately, he also has a 3-second penalty, but Beaker will definitely be suffering from the guys immediately behind him.
Now, obviously, these guys are still yet to pit, so it's no surprise that they are currently this far up the field. However, they do, when they get in the pits, have to think about how they're going to do this. Do they just keep stretching this? Another 5 laps on the mediums and then take 10 laps for the softs as Zones gets another penalty? But Zones looks like his tyres are done, honestly. He looks very uncomfortable right now, and that's the major concern. How do you keep going when your tyres are this cooked? It's a problem.
It is definitely a problem, and if his tyres are already gone, there's no way that he'll stretch the softs to the end, so he would need to come in for a set of hards, which it would be the complete opposite call from what he wants to make. You know, you want to stretch these medium tyres so that you can get those softs and be very fast at the end. If he switches now to hard tyres, he'll have a consistent lap pace, but it won't be a particularly quick lap pace.
Samidia, though, is very much doing the do right now. These hard tyres are working wonders for him. He's 12 laps in. He's 2/10 back on Copy. with the DRS ready to fire away. And the gap being so close here allows some idiot to just go for it. You can see the hards have actually started to overpower the mediums as it stands. They've drawn off, and you know, he can really start to go to work on getting past Copy and Beaker.
Yep, I think, to be honest, looking at the tyre wear for some of these drivers, I think the mediums can probably go, you know, lap 19, 20 and be okay. They're not going to get into puncture zone, but whether you can still drive with pace when the tyres are that worn would be...
Oh, some idiot, sorry. He's gone for a move on Beaker. That's a lunge and a half, but he's not pulled it off. Apologies for cutting you off there, but he absolutely went for it, and I thought he was going to have a crash.
That looked like a Bottas gang move there. We've seen him do that in the F2s earlier today, so yeah, that was a good attempt.
But didn't come to fruition. Buemo's getting a penalty, just got a little bit too complacent there as he came through the final corner, took the corner a bit too tight and gets himself a penalty to boot. So he's going to be in a bit of a pickle come later in this Grand Prix. He's going to have to try and recover that. I don't know how, especially when you got the likes of some idiot right here holding you back. I say holding you back, he's still got really solid pace on the hards, but ultimately Buemos is that bit faster as it stands. Preschneider ready to go and just chilling, but he can't get through. This is a no overtaking zone realistically. You can't go side by side. You're going to have to just bide your time. Mistakes are very easily made here.
Yeah, it looked like he was going on and just thought better of it, backed out. He's holding on for the straight and getting the DRS, make it an easier move. He'll definitely be able to take JC in the braking zone just from the, you know, the extra life he's got in those tyres. But here he goes, DRS open and just trying to get up to the back of him.
Preschneider just chilling, not going to pass here. It's going to be staying as is for now, but some idiot is really ready to go on Beaker. He knows what's coming. Oh, he almost goes into the back of him. But that could have been an opportunity earlier on the back straight, sorry, if he wanted to, but he's decided here again, another lunge. This has not worked out for him in the past, but this time it looks like he's got it. Well done, some idiot, for making that move stick on Beaker, and he just needs to make sure he doesn't lose DRS to Copy, and I think some idiot might actually take the win here today.
I think he's got a chance, as I say. Preschneider's still in effect P2, and once he gets the clean air from those in front of him, might be able to catch up to the back of somebody else. But those tyres, the medium tyres, will be, you know, at end of life come the end of this race. So it'll be interesting to see. But somebody that's actually having an absolutely great race, and we've seen him do this before when he goes on a strategy you weren't, you know, quite expecting, and manages to pull it off. And as I said, this is his home track. He wants to do well here. He practices this track a lot, and it's working out great for him.
And he's already built a 7/10 gap to Beaker. You know, Beaker's obviously being attacked by Buemos, and Preschneider, who's obviously Buemos' teammate, he's also trying to get past this as quick as he can. They're going to be communicating to each other without a doubt, and you can see Buemos has decided, yeah, I'm going to let you go. I'll just follow you. You're faster than me right now. I could use your toe. I could use your DRS to just pass Beaker. The worry he's got is if he leaves a bit too much of a gap between him and his teammate, then there will be an opportunity for Beaker to just block that line for Buemos. And there's not going to be a great deal he could do about it later, but look at the battle for P1. Danico currently still leading, zones right on the gearbox of him, along with Yenab, who's right on the gearbox of him. 6.6 second gap between him and Copy behind means that the battle will be between the three of them for now, but they're still yet to pit. There's still a lot of time to recover if they are going to pit soon.
Yeah, I think, as I say, it'll probably be another four laps or so, 4 or 5 laps before you'll see them come in, unless their tyres are completely shot. But they'll be wanting to try and stretch it just so they can go on those soft tyres until the end and have a lot of pace. So we'll see what they can do. But right now it's Preschneider, and he's just managed to jump, having a big fight at the moment.
It was just Beaker.
So it looks like Beaker coming into the pits. Yeah, the timings were getting a bit strange there. I was like, what's going on? But yeah, so that's him now, as I say, right on the back of some idiot, and that's they are effectively P1 and 2.
Oh, just chilling, and Yonti having a bit of a moment here, and he's trying to keep his nose in it as long as he can. He just knows, I meant to do that as well, he just knows that he can't really keep himself side by side. It was a bit of a game of chicken there, but Yonti was always going to lose that because JC had that much more car ahead, so Yonti was going to have to back out. JC gets on the grass though. This is going to be a problem for him because the DRS is available. JC doesn't have it, and he's going to be under attack here from Yonti.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for him. Obviously, they've got very similar tyres, so this is just going to be a DRS, making it nice and simple. But JC can hopefully stick with him, and we'll see that Copy's actually managed to make a move on Presschneider there with the DRS into the braking zone. So that's a good attempt from Copy there, but obviously his tyres are far older than Presschneider's, but they're going side by side now, and Presschneider's attempting to take that place back and gets back into 5th position, back onto the gearbox of Samidiot.
And now this is an official P1, P2 battle. Samidiot P4, Presschneider P5 as it stands, but everyone ahead still yet to pit, one of which has just come in. That is Yenab, 16 laps in on his medium, 17 total, and he will actually choose, I imagine, to go on to softs here. But the problem is, the softs get absolutely destroyed on the circuit. Especially Sector 1, they melt them. The track temperatures are already quite ridiculous anyway, usually on this circuit. Presschneider going for a bit of a wider line there through turn 1. Samidiot, good solid exit. He's quite happy overall on these hards. I don't know who I favour here. Yes, 6-lap older hards, but these mediums are about to drop, and they're about to be on par with Samidiot. The difference is that one's going to have tow and DRS, the other one's not.
Yep, there's right now though it already looks like Presschneider's going to make a move on Samidiot. He's getting all over that gearbox. This is shaping up to like he's not wanting to wait. He's got the fresher tyres, he's got the newer boots, and he wants to make them count while he can. So he'll be getting a nice easy DRS overtake here and trying to get off into the distance before his medium tyres start to disintegrate.
Presschneider getting a nice, simple overtake, but this is actually great for Samidiot because he can sit on the back of Presschneider and just hover in that DRS zone. He could apply pressure if he wanted to, no real benefit for him to do that. Just chilling, and Hayes having a little bit of a side-by-side battle as well. Hayes is stuck on the outside through here, but if he can keep himself alongside throughout, he will have a better run here, which is exactly what he needed. It's exactly what he gets, and he will move up to P7.
Yeah, that's a good move there from Hayes. And Hayes is actually in a pretty good position as well. For he's got right now with the tyre choice he's on, he's effectively on the same strategy as Samidiot. So he's basically sitting P3 now. So that's actually worked out pretty well for Hayes. So it looks like my 1, 2, 3 could come to fruition. I think I said Presschneider, Samidiot, and Hayes, didn't I? I said something like that.
I'll give you it. Even if you didn't say it, I'll give you it. Beaker getting the fastest lap though right now. Yenab on the soft tyres has been able to get into this, and Zones goes into the side of Dennis. That was a very hard hit there, but I don't think he got wing damage, but that would have scared the life out of Dennis. Brand spanking new softs go on to Zones and Danico. Yenab pitting that lap earlier, it does mean he's going to be that bit faster. However, his tyres will fall off that bit earlier, and if he's going to do 10 laps, 11 if you want, he will actually start to crumble in around about 8 laps time. Copy has decided his race is over. He's gone into the pits and has retired from the session. Here comes Yenab down the inside now on Brownie, and Brownie's just going to be left out to dry, and not a lot he can do about it. The tyre pace is phenomenal here for Yenab. DRS being available for both of them means it's going to be very much a tow battle, and it looks like it's going to be Yenab that loses out, but he will have better grip coming into it. And later on the brakes goes Yenab. It's going to be a very side-by-side. Well, look at the turning speed he gets there. Yenab just that much faster. So good to see.
Yep, and Yenab here he's only about 5 seconds behind, 5.5 seconds behind Hayes. So, you know, as I said, right now Hayes is effectively sitting P3, but can he hold out on that 5.5 seconds over the next, 9-10 laps? That's going to be a tough ask for him on those hard tyres.
The yellow flag was in fact Copy's AI car that had come out of the pits and gone onto the circuit, so it's nothing to worry about. Everybody's still alive and still fighting. Danico is actually fighting too. He's here behind, stuck behind 2 drivers that are on old hard compound tyres, and you can see the gap starting to form here between Zones, who's realistically the person he's battling with, and Danico, and that's a concern. Danico has to hurry up and get past these with no delay, and the problem is you're in an area of the circuit where overtaking is next to impossible. You just cannot do it, and that's why he's sat behind. The driver of the day voting is now open, so please type !vote in the chat and make sure you vote for who you believe deserves the driver of the day vote. Dennis in P11 right now, does he actually deserve it, if he should get it?
I'm just having a look, and could Wemmels and Yonti stretch these medium tyres out to the end of this race? Because if not, they should be coming in this lap. But those tyres are going to be in puncture zone if they don't come in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they pit towards the end of the safety car. That's the issue. And, you know, lap 20 of 28, unless we get another safety car, I think you're right. I think we are going to see a puncture. That's very concerning for the majority of them. They can't afford for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that maybe they were banking on another safety car coming out, and so that they would pit during that and get onto the softs, but or another set of medium tyres. But this is concerning for them because they're. I mean, it's going to be all or nothing now. If Yonti needs to try and stay out, because if he comes in, that's the battle for the constructors over. So Yonti's going to have to put his own driver's position on the line to try and get the constructors' battles to go another race. But can they make it?
I think he's going to have to try.
Big ask.
I think he's going to have to try. That's the scenario he's in. Hayes, though, looks so much better. Toro Rosso as a whole are looking very good. Again, similar sort of situation to what Yonti's in. Can those mediums that are 19 lap old go to the end of the race? It's going to be hard for that to happen, but I have seen crazier things happen, so definitely not going to put my money on it, especially not right now. Pampenik setting a new fastest lap as well. He's down in dead last position with relatively new softs, just chilling getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Granted, he's outside of points positions anyway, and the gap behind him is 14.3, so he doesn't really have much to lose in terms of penalties. He does, however, have to get a move on very quickly should he want to try and fight for a P10. Too many penalties, bit too big a gap. I think he's kind of out of this one.
Yeah, I'm just having a look, and obviously Yonti right now is sitting in P7 in terms of the Drivers' Championship. So right now his position's secure in the top 10 to get into next season. So he could try and stretch us, but Wemmels, he's sitting in P9 right now. So one bad result for him could result in him not making it into next season. So is it a gamble he really wants to take?
Well, Beaker's trying to gamble here on the Renault ahead of him. And Rainbow is much further in on these tyres. 19, now 20 laps done. Beaker's 5 laps in on the softs, and he's trying to fire one down the inside here of Rainbow, who also has DRS on Dennis. But the Red Bull teammates need to work together if they want to try and secure some points. 1.6 seconds is the gap between Dennis and Rainbow ahead. But Beaker can really help his teammate here if Dennis lets him past. If he can just break that gap down a bit more, this could work wonders for him. And it looks like we've lost Just Chillin' and Safso, who's decided to retire in the pits.
Yep, I think JC's had a disconnect there because the car's not retired, so hopefully he manages to get back in. I'll actually just see if I can send him an invite, make sure he's...
Well, Buemo's actually going for an attack here on Samidia, going into the braking zone. At the end of the back straight, he's going to have so much pace here. But the tyres are about the same age, so he's going to have a bit of a problem later in this Grand Prix. How is he going to hold Samidia back when Samidia's tyres become the alpha between the two of them? Literally. Samidia obviously still in with a chance of a podium, but I'm failing to see how the Toro Rosso boys don't 1-2 this.
I mean, Buemos has a 3-second time penalty and Samidia does not, so that could come into effect if Samidia just stays in the zone. He should, in essence, Buemo's tyres shouldn't be able to pull away from him, so Samidia should be able to just sit here and enjoy the tow and enjoy having a chance to recharge his ERS, because he's absolutely dumped all of his ERS trying to get into the back of Crash Leader. So this is an opportunity for him to just recharge, sit there, and so long as he stays within 3 seconds, he's still maintaining P2.
But then he also has to get a move on because Hayes is right behind him and he's catching him up. The gap is exactly the same amount of gap as what Samidia's got to Wemmels. So it's a awkward scenario to be in, and Samidia can't afford to delay. He can't afford to be too fast. This is the issue. He's got to get the pace. This is the Goldilocks moment. He has to get it just right. Yenab on the back of Yonti. This is a scenario I think that Yonti's going to lose out in 9 times out of 10 due to the extra grip that the softs have got for now. Bear that in mind, for now. They are going to wear off in about 2 or 3 more laps, as Danico's going to find out soon as well. He's on the back of Geton. The pace difference is quite severe, and he will pass him with ease due to that DRS.
I don't think Yonti's got a chance to get on the back of Yenab again, to be honest, because those medium tyres on 21 laps in now, that he's not going to be able to have any grip remaining even once the softs do go off. So, yeah, Yonti's now looking at P6 at best. But Zone's right on the back of him with new fresh soft, and so is Danico, just 3 seconds or so behind him. He'll be falling right down to the bottom of this top 10.
Hayes still sitting on the back of Samidiot. Samidiot is still sitting pretty when it comes to the fight between him and Buemels, but this is now Hayes probably going to get P2 here. He has the pace, he has a lot of ERS, and he has got the better tyres out of the three of them, if you think about it, and that's great stuff for Racing Point. They're going to want that, they're going to need that. But you feel kind of sad for a potential Toro Rosso 1-2.
Yeah, it's... to be honest, I think Buemels and Yonti are both going to have their tyres pop on the last lap. They're taking these medium tyres a long, long way. So they're definitely now within the puncture zone. Just need to see if they can maintain it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Hayes has got the pace, he's got the ERS, and he should, in effect, be able to take this off Buemels.
I mean, even the Alphas are looking really good. P3 right now, P5 for Yenab as well. He's on soft tyres and he has got a lot of pace still in him. And he looks like he might actually be able to take these tyres to the end as Samidi goes for a move here on Buemels down the inside. He's going to squeeze Buemels off the circuit. This is going to allow Hayes to get around the outside here of Buemels as well. I don't know how Buemels fights this off. Hayes still scrapping. Yenab sees an opportunity down the inside, gets up ahead of Hayes, but Hayes is going to come back at him. He can't get it just yet. He's going to have to sit tight, and we still have some time to go. So he's not out of this by any stretch of the imagination, but Yenab is starting to make a name.
Yep, Yenab's on the freshest pair of tyres up there in the top 5, so he wants to be making a move. But yeah, somebody needed to get past Buemels there. Those tyres are absolutely dropping off, and right now he's not doing well on his ERS, and so he'll likely be attacked again. But so long as he's got Buemels there as like a buffer between him and Yenab, this will be good for him. But Yenab is absolutely charging, and we'll see if he's able to do. But he's now 7 laps in on those softs, so another 2 laps, and they could be losing a lot of pace. And if Yenab's not managed to get beyond the pack, that's going to cause him some problems.
Samidiot's life hangs in Yenab's hands here. I know that Buemels has the penalty, but the tyres are in a very weird scenario where Hayes is coming. If Yenab can start to fight with Buemels and hold Hayes back, he should be able to secure the 2-3. And this is going to be enormous for Alpha. Suddenly it looked like a 1-2 for Toro Rosso. Now it looks like a 2-3 for Alfa Romeo. This is brilliant. Hayes there, ready to go. Yenab doesn't have the exit he needs despite the extra grip, and here comes Hayes with that straight line pace with the toe ahead as well. He might have to go hard in the braking zone as Yenab will definitely take it to him, and you can see how they come through now. Yenab just has that bit more grip, and that allows him to recover back in a P4, but for a minute there was starting to be some question marks around Yenab's race.
Yeah, you know what would probably be best for the Alpha? If he manages to get past Buemels and then just slow Buemels up into the back of Hayes and protect Some Idiot. Because Some Idiot's tyres, obviously, they're 23 laps old, and they should still be in pretty okay nick, but obviously with Yenab being on the softs, he's got all the tools to fight the drivers behind.
Oh, Samidiot's actually helped his teammate there as well by moving out of the tow line for Buemels. This is now allowing Yenab to go for a send in towards turn 1, but it's going to be a hell of a send if he can pull it off, and I don't think he can. He's just took too tight a line. Buemels will get a nice run. Yenab's trying to stick his car through. He actually might get it. If he can get it into the S's, this is going to be massive for a big contact, and Buemels gets rotated. Hayes gets caught up in it as well, and there's more contact. No! Yonti gets destroyed because he gets collected into the side of Buemels. And just one little fight where they try to keep it together. Yonti just has such a massive incident.
And this has helped out Mercedes massively. Get-On's managed to take that position, and that would mean the Constructors' title will go to Mercedes.
Poor Yonti, he did nothing wrong this race. He tried everything he could, and he's on these 24-lap all mediums, which now, due to that contact he's had, they've had so much life taken out of them, the likelihood is they're going to pop. And that's if he can even stay in the points positions anyway, which he can't currently, because Dennis is 3 seconds ahead. He's actually building a gap even more. Florian is through as well to add more insult to injury. Haas, they tried their best. It just fell apart.
Yep, and I think, you know, Yanab was always going to get that position, but I don't blame Bo Emmels for wanting to fight it. That was, you know, you would want to try and maintain your position and maintain your points, but on that age of tyres, you know, you're talking about, you know, 65% wear most likely. It's a difficult ask to fight any car in the SEs, even when you've got good, you know, a good set of boots on. So, but it looks like some idiots actually letting Yanab through. So that's an interesting call. I would have thought that since there was such a big gap to Preschneider, that Yanab would now help some idiot get, you know, be his rear gunner against Danny, who's coming in on those soft tyres as well. So some idiot might lose a podium position now.
Now, of course, the stewards have been in touch, and the incident between Yanab and Buemos will be investigated after the race. So we'll see how that fares. We'll probably find out tomorrow, as Hayes is going for a move here on zones. It's the Shazoo teammates, but not on the circuit. As you can see, Zones is still here. He's got the softs, but they are starting to wear. He's also incredibly low on ERS, and he's still trying to burn it away as much as he can. Bit of a lag there for him, forces him back a bit further, as well as Danico is getting involved in a into a Alfa Romeo civil war, as Danico is trying to stick around the outside of Samidi, and we are on the second to last lap, remember, so this is crucial. They cannot afford to lose anything. Samidi is still there, gets a little bit of a tap there from Danico, and he's going to fall down to P4, but Yanab can help him. Yanab can rescue Samidi's race here.
Yep, it did. To be honest, I just had a look at the penalties, and Danny's actually got 6 seconds. So right now, that 2-3 position is actually looking safe, unless Hayes has got 6 seconds as well, and somebody that's on absolutely 0. This is looking fine for them. They've absolutely got this. So again, somebody that just sits in the toe now with Danny, and Yanab just maintains position. There's nothing any driver can do on this last lap, unless there's obviously an incident, which, you know, fingers crossed there isn't.
Yeah, I mean, it all looks like it's just so firmly Preschneider. It's 10.3 seconds ahead. The only way that he doesn't make this now is if he just by some miracle has a mega puncture and just drops out of the race, or has a big mistake. That's the only way. Yanab is currently looking to take P2. Danico, as it stands, P3 with some idiot chasing him down, and Hayes obviously did do very well to avoid the mega carnage that happened between them. Fair play to him, he's still alive. Fair play to him, he's still going on these very old hard tyres, and actually in DRS range of some idiot. Has got a chance to close in. Is it going to be enough though? Danico has managed to get past Yanab. Yanab now suddenly in a very bad place. He was looking like an Alpha 2-3. It's now looking like it's just going to be an Alpha 3. Danico P2 right now. I'm not sure on the penalty situation. Hopefully you've got that.
I do indeed. So long as Yanab stays within 3 seconds, he maintains his position. But right now, it'll finish Preschneider, some idiot, and Yanab.
Has Yanab got a penalty, but some idiot doesn't have any?
Yanab's got, Yanab's got 3 seconds. Some idiot's got 0. Danny on 6.
How many Hayes
has got? On 6. Hayes has got 6. Although I'm not sure if he got a 3-second time penalty for avoiding the collision in the S's, so I think he might get 3 seconds removed. I didn't see if that's why he got one of them. There's Preschneider across the line, and some idiot managed to take P2 with Yanab in P3.
The strategy came true for some idiot. He played that perfectly, and that's just the story of his races normally. Preschneider gets the win, some idiot gets P2, and Yanab rounds out the podium, and an Alpha 2-3. Danico P4, Hayes P5, Ghetto and P6, Zones P7, Felix P8, Dennis P9, Beaker P10. A double Red Bull points position. Who would have thought it?
Yeah, they've certainly had the work cut out from them, but they've managed to get it. And Dennis there, adding 2 points on, he'll be so thrilled with that. Absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, very well deserved. Preschneider has really delivered today. At the one point, it looked a bit dicey for him when he fell right to the back of the queue. But, I mean, how great was that? So, bear in mind how everything else has gone for the rest of the drivers. We've had, obviously, mega collisions, which we saw Yonti sadly. Honestly, it was more sad a love story than Twilight, Titanic. The whole works put together. You know, that's so frustrating for them. But it does mean, though, Mercedes are the Constructors' champions.
Yep, they've managed to get the full suite. They've got the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship now. So, well done to Mercedes.
We'll get the rundown for you in just a second and confirm exactly who's when. Now, bear in mind, this is all before the stewards apply any penalties because there's a fair few incidents that need to be investigated, and I think there might be one or two people getting a bit of a slap on the wrist. So Press Schneider getting the win, though, that's almost guaranteed. Samidi getting P2, that's almost guaranteed. He started P9 at the beginning of this race. That's how solid he has been in this Grand Prix. You end up getting P3 with an alternate strategy, but it did work out. Danico P4, Hayes P5, Get Owen P6, Zones P7, Felix P8, Dennis P9, with Beaker getting the final point position. Florian getting best of the rest with Rainbow in P12, JSE in P13, Yonti P14, Buemels P15, Noosa 16th, Safso 17th. Oh no, sorry, he DNF'd along with Pampernick, Copy, and that is, well, Dan, I guess, if you'd like, because he did try the qualifying but just couldn't make it to the race. But that does lead me to ask you the final question, Mr. Hornbadger. Who is your driver of the day?
You know, I think Zone's done an excellent job from P19 to get up to P7, but some idiot pulled off a great strategy call and really made it work and drove perfectly cleanly. You know, 0 penalties. Yeah, he was a little bit off Press Schneider, but from P9 starting, that's an absolutely great result to end up with second place.
Right. We are going to go to our interview stage now. We'll see. So we're going to start with obviously P3, but it's going to be a double alpha interview. Who would have thought that at the beginning of this race? Let's bring them into the box. Let's start with Yenab. Where are you? Yenab, hello.
Hello.
P3, I bet you're feeling great after that one.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I wasn't thinking about that. USA usually is quite a slow track for me. And then obviously there was the whole safety car situation. We were thinking about pitting on hards. We didn't do it because I would have been ahead because I was obviously behind Idiot. And yeah, really happy. Thank you to the guys. Thank you for Shell for powering our car.
Now, obviously, you know, there was a bit of teamwork involved in order to achieve that, but mainly it came down to your consistency and your teammates' consistency too. You know, so the penalties being applied to Danico did mean he fell outside of the podium altogether, but there must have been a moment of uncertainty there for you.
Yeah, we asked our judges, and it was clear that Danny has 6 seconds of penalties. So in the last couple of laps, it was like if no one of us spins or something like that, then we should have a double podium because Edith was the only guy without penalties in that group, I think, and so he was safe. And then I was quite a lot in front of the group, only Danny challenging me, who had 6 seconds. So yeah, we were quite sure. I still tried to beat Danny on the track, but I wasn't really able to. Had low battery, but yeah, also great job to Danny, obviously.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, really happy with the race. Idiot was out of his mind. I think he's over the moon right now. If you can remember the Monaco podium reaction.
I can. Yeah, he lost his mind when he secured that. So I can only imagine. I did think of it when I thought, we're going to have a double alpha. This is going to be brilliant. He's going to be really happy with himself. I'm looking forward to speaking to him. But I want to just understand from your perspective, like, obviously it's a bit of a difference. You're coming towards the end of the season. You're actually now you're probably up there a bit further, but you're in that danger zone for losing out to the top 10. And obviously, as you know, if you're outside the top 10, you don't get to go into straight into the next season. You have to fight for your right to stay in the race. Are you concerned about that coming into the final few stages?
Not too much, to be honest. I just focus on getting the best results from every race, that kind of stuff. And I think there's not really much else I can do. And so basically, I'm not really that focused on the championship. I'm just trying to get good races, doing what is most likely to get me most points, basically. And I think that worked out today. And that's my plan, my strategy for next races as well.
Speaking of next races, next up is the track. It is Brazil. Are you feeling confident?
So far I haven't got a setup. I have to say I like the track, I just don't know whether I'm faster or not. But obviously today in USA, it's also not a track where I'm usually fast at. And I got a podium, so it's always possible to get something. Yeah, I just have to see with the setup how that works.
So I have to do this to everybody I interview. I need a prediction of where you're going to finish next race.
Oh, it's really hard to say. I don't know who's racing. Today, obviously, Hypers, Infamous, those kind of guys didn't race, so that was helpful because they would have been probably in front. But I guess somewhere like P8, that kind of stuff, I feel like would be most likely.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, eh? But congratulations on your P3. Very well done for both you and your team. And we'll speak to your teammate in just a second. But congratulations again. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to the next race as well.
All right. Take care. Let's get somebody in here. Let's see how his reaction was at the end of that Grand Prix. Because I can almost guarantee you he was lively. How are you doing, some idiot?
Yes, sir. I was quite lively.
Let me turn you up a little bit so I can hear you.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. My voice is starting to go scratchy on me.
I can hear it. Obviously, qualifying was a bit of a predicament. I thought, maybe this is not going to go too well. You qualified P9, but then the race happened. Something clicked. Just explain the opening stages and then the rest of the race.
I got a decent start. I knew... Excuse me. Let me clear my breath 1 second. Okay. I knew we had a good race car coming in. That was my focus. Is quali pace, whatever. We're gonna move forward. We got cars to do it. And then they started wrecking in front of me on the, as they coming left side off of turn 1, 2, whatever you want to call it. Got through that, no damage, but a lot of people had damage around me. And since we had the safety car, I knew the hards could go to the end. That was in my window of thinking, if we get an early safety car, I'm going to gamble. I'm going to run tires super long. I'm going to try to checo them. And sure as heck, it played out, man. I don't know about you, but I think a P2 plays out from P9.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of concern towards the end when you saw people starting to pass you, starting to pull away a little bit. And granted, they did have penalties and that worked out for you. You have to start wondering, is that gamble worth it in the end? But ultimately, it's what you race for. You still secured a massive P2, but you are coming towards the end of the stages. And I was just saying to Yenab how he's in the danger zone, and you're kind of in there too. You're right, and before this race started, you were P10.
Yes, sir.
Are you a bit concerned coming towards the end of the season?
I feel like I'm having a great run of momentum lately. Like P7, P4, this P2, if it holds up, I feel like everything's clicking right at the end, and that's when you need to be strong, right at the end of the season. I think Janab's going to make his way in too. He's having a good run of form. I wouldn't be worried about him. I'll do my dangest to try to get myself a little safer. Sorry.
So, you've done well today.
Sorry.
We know that.
Yep.
But next week is Brazil. How confident do you feel around that circuit?
I feel pretty good. Like the last 4 or 5 races, excuse me, last 4 or 5 tracks, I feel like I've got a good car underneath me. I'm coming in with good cars, and I'm building on them as the week goes on. I'm feeling very confident in the final 3 races. You know what? But one thing I want to say before I end off, it's sure sweet when you do it in front of the home crowd to get a P2 like that. It sure is sweet.
Yeah.
Best fans?
I had a feeling. Go on.
Best fans?
Yes, sir. Best fans.
All right, I do need a prediction from you though for next race. I know you're feeling confident, but how confident?
I think I can run in the points again. That's the idea coming in, is if I consistently keep scoring points, that momentum builds up, and I think a top 10 is something reasonable to aim for. You never know with how the race goes on. I wasn't expecting to be up in the top 4 after qualifying, seeing the time gaps. I was thinking maybe a P6, a P7 if I can move forward slightly. But you never know. You never know with what happens in racing. That's why we race. That's why we don't race on paper. We race in person. We race wheel to wheel. That's why we do it.
Well, congratulations again on your P2 for both you and your team. It was a really solid result, and it does help out massively.
That's sweet as well to have my teammate on the podium with me too. I remember last time around Monaco, I was super thankful to him. I'm thankful to him again because he helped me out the last phase of the race. Definitely helped me keep Hayes and all of them behind. So I'm indebted to Janab for giving me a chance to do this, and to the rest of my team, Falsetti and Mizo. They've been there working away with us whole season. I'm just happy to be able to repay that for them because they worked hard for us.
Well said. Well, congratulations again on the P2. I look forward to seeing what you could bring in Brazil.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you. All right, let's get our winner Mr. Preschneider, who secured a beautiful strategy play. Not only did he make the strategy work, he also showed dominance when it came to pace, and then he takes the win. Preschneider, how are you feeling?
Afternoon, and yeah, pretty good. The race was real fun. Definitely enjoyed that one. Pace was good, and I've done lots of overtakes, so can't be disappointed with that one.
Yep, no, absolutely. Now, obviously, Hypers wasn't there, Infamous wasn't there, so it was a little bit easier, if you like, in that respect. But you still had to work a little bit. You still had to pass a fair few cars. Was there a moment of doubt in this race?
Not really. I've done lots of races around the circuit, and obviously we have our Jeffs who give us informations about the race. And I knew that at the safety car, most of the guys stopped for hard tires. So from loads of the races I've done, I know that the hards are pretty slow, so I wasn't really that concerned about them. I was mostly concerned about breaking that 1 second gap to the car behind at the restart to make sure they are not in the RS, which I managed to do. And yeah, pretty much then just try to keep my head down and overtake basically everyone.
Yeah. Now, again, we're coming towards the end of the calendar. You've got Brazil next, along with obviously Abu Dhabi after. Are these tracks that work for you?
Yes, but yeah, this was my final race of the season, so I'll be leaving my spot to a reserve for Brazil and Abu Dhabi. So yeah, just even the Xbox drivers need some break sometimes. So
yeah, of course. Especially right now, where esports and just racing virtually right now is huge. It's everywhere, so it makes there's a lot of stress, a lot of strain when it comes to time management, and it's expected. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you racing with us this season. Thank you so much, and you've been a pleasure to commentate on. I'll be truthfully honest. I look forward to whatever you do with the rest of with the rest of the season. Hopefully, see you next season.
Yeah, thank you. I'll definitely join next season. Been a pleasure.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Congrats to you, Preschneider. You did a hell of a job today. I wish I had something for you, but I knew I didn't have anything for you. Wish I could have had it though, but you did a damn good job. Congrats to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And on that note, that's the end of the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in the United States of America. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you. As always, I've been Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me has been Mr. Horn Badger. You, sir, are a lad. As per normal, I thoroughly appreciate commentating alongside you. My own little Paul de Resta. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next week in Brazil.